All right. We are live. Can you, Natalie knows the YouTube channel, if she can check for me. All right, Coach. Let's, why can't we hear that? Check, 1, 2, 3. Check, 1, 2, 3. Hey, welcome to the Boulder City Sports Network Live Coaches Show. This is a weekly show that we sit down with, this week is our head football coach, Bubba Mariani, but we hope to have other coaches in the future. Hey, Luke, can you tilt me? I'm a little left. Nope, other way? Yeah, perfect. Right on.
Good job, Luke.
I also need a check on YouTube, please, just to make sure that we're good. We're live. All right, right on. All right, we'll take this music down. That was our bumper music.
I love it.
Hey, thanks for joining us. This is the Boulder City Sports Network Live Coaches Show. Happens every Tuesday, live from Vinny's Little Italy here in Boulder City, Nevada. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Coach Bubba Mariani, the varsity Boulder City Eagles varsity head coach. How you doing, Coach?
Great. Super happy to be here.
Yeah.
Very, very, very excited to get this started.
Hey, first question: Did you get a warm welcome from Boulder City when you got here?
Oh my God, absolutely. It was one of those things where I kind of had a year of anonymity, where was just kind of a dad and doing that sort of thing, and went for almost a full year of just being Ace's dad or Drew's dad or Zay's dad, and now with the football stuff going on and coaching baseball and being at the high school and everything, like people are starting to know who I am a little bit, which has been a lot of fun. It's just been a lot, and I have loved every minute of it.
So has everyone caught on to the Coach Bubba?
Yeah, it was early on in like the summer practices. We had a couple kids, like you could hear them stumbling over the coach. I'm like, listen, it's just Bubba, Coach Bubba. And like even the kids at the school that I've got in different classes and that are coming in, like everyone's understood the Coach Bubba thing. So it's worked.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's caught on. I mean, everyone that I've talked to, whenever we're talking about you, it's Bubba.
Yeah,
Bubba this,
yeah,
Bubba
yeah.
that. Oh, Coach Bubba. And I'm like, oh yeah, all right, sounds good. Tell me about your varsity coaching team.
I am in love with the guys that we put together. We've got some guys that have kind of been in and out of the program over the past in different roles, not necessarily all varsity guys, but they have gelled together, and I could not be any more pleased with what we've got. Chris Render is doing our defense. He's a defensive coordinator.
Okay.
His son, Derek, is a senior on the team. Doing a great job. We're kind of doing a lot of the same stuff that we have done in the past, but with like his own little twist on it. So he's doing the defense. Jack Dunnigan, who's been a long-time JV coach, has kind of come up. He's working with linebackers, defensive line, a little bit in and out, doing the running backs for us this year. He's officially let the kids know that starting tomorrow, they get the jackhammer if there's any trouble, if there's anything, he's our punishment guy. All right,
Gotcha.
He takes pride in that role.
Why starting tomorrow? What's tomorrow?
Just because up until this point, we've kind of been in like a holding pattern. You know what I mean? Where we kind of getting ready to go, but we haven't really gotten to that preparation time yet. You know what I mean? Like now we're officially in. We've got 5 practices till the first game, so we're officially in that like go mode,
Yeah.
And then to finish out the staff, just to make sure I don't miss anybody.
Thanks.
Parker Reynolds, who everybody knows in town as
former quarterback.
I like to call him the man, the myth, the legend, just Parker. But he's going to be helping with the offense. He's doing the quarterbacks. Him and I really gelled early on with like the offensive stuff, and it's hard for me to believe that I have not worked with him for longer than 3 months. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of stuff that I start to think, and then he just kind of rolls off of it. So I'm very, very looking forward to how that's going to work in games with him being up in the booth and stuff like that. And then the other guy on offense that's really helped us a ton is Brian Bradshaw.
Okay.
So he works at the third, fourth, and fifth grade school. I never remember the name.
Mitchell,
whatever. I don't know.
Wait,
I can never get
which one's 3, 4, and 5? King.
Okay. So he's over there at King. He's doing the offensive line. Again, he's a Illinois guy, so there's a lot of stuff that we have in common. And with kind of the three of us, when we start going with stuff in practice, we run one thing and then somebody will be like, you know what, why don't we try this off of that? And then we do, and then why don't you try this off of that? And so it's been a lot of fun.
Nice. Who's coaching junior varsity team?
JV, we've got Zach Martin, who graduated when did he graduate? 2 years ago? 3 years ago, I think.
I don't know. Zach Martin? Yeah. You guys know Zach Martin? He's the JV coach. Now you know.
But him, Josh Fotheringham, and then Mike Armstrong. Okay. So he's long-term sub at the school. His son's on the JV team. He's kind of coached different sports all over, for a long time. He's actually come in and done a really good job. He's actually going to help us with the varsity special teams during the games. Like, he'll be on the sidelines for us. And then Sam Solario. So he's a policeman.
Yeah, I know Sam.
He just retired. So
he retired?
Yeah, he just retired.
Hey,
finally.
you lazy bum.
So the streets are a little bit safer now that Sam's off
exactly. So, all right, what are my questions? Now I got lost. That was funny. All right, let me get back to my questions. This is so professional. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is what I really wanted to get into. What do you think about the facilities?
They are absolutely perfect. I mean, I think you go and you see what they're very indicative. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. They're Boulder City. You know what I mean? The weight room is small and has a purpose. You know what I mean? I know they redid it a couple years ago, and I absolutely love it. It's the perfect size for getting the kids in there. Like, everybody's working. We've got enough racks, and everybody knows what's going on. So I absolutely love the weight room.
I haven't seen it since it opened up.
Oh, so, you haven't?
No. But I mean, I saw it when it was brand new. Right. So is it still looking clean? Is it fresh?
God, absolutely.
All right,
absolutely.
you guys are keeping it.
I've got a weight training class first period, but Coach Moore's in there the rest of the day, so I don't mess with his stuff. And, he's definitely going to keep it in line.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's all we needed to hear. Coach Moore's in there.
I tell the kids all the time, I'm like, you need to keep it needs to be Coach Moore approved.
Right.
I'm like, it's not me, it's him.
For sure.
But
what about the locker room?
Weight room's been fantastic. The locker room, we've got we do have a little locker room problem, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah? What's the problem?
The problem is we've got more kids than we've ever had. So we've got kids doubling up on lockers and stuff like that. So, it's a good problem to have.
Oh, so we got two players per locker? Is that what you're saying?
In some of them, yeah.
Oh, wow,
Some of the younger kids had to.
How do you do that with the shoulder pads and all? Oh, is it just... what are we talking about? Shoulder pads?
Bigger lockers. Okay. Yeah, they're bigger
But still,
lockers.
helmets, shoulder pads?
Yeah, no, it's a whole thing. The kids have adapted to it a little bit. It's been a little messy. We make all the B guys share the lockers for the most part.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, there you go. Rite of passage.
Exactly.
It's not a problem. Let's see, what else? Oh, I got out of camera. Let's see, get closer. We're working everything out here, folks. What do you think about the field?
Oh, my God. The field is phenomenal. We've had a couple times over the summer where we've started to get crowds out there. We've kind of had open practices throughout the summer. So when we did our late night practices, a lot of parents would come and we'd get probably 20 people in the crowd, and it's fun to look up and see them and do all that. But I am so looking forward to next Thursday night and filling that place.
Nice, yeah.
So excited for it.
Yeah, right on. How do our facilities compare to Desert Pines?
I don't think you can compare the two. They're just so vastly different, and
we could compare the two.
Yeah,
we could try.
We could.
I mean, okay. Whose field is nicer? Their field, our field?
Oh, our field, 100%.
Okay. Whose weight room is nicer? Their weight room, our
Their
room?
weight room is bigger. That's the only thing I'll give it.
Okay, their weight room is bigger, sizes and everything.
Exactly.
Your varsity team will tell you that. And then, who's the better locker room?
I think we got the better locker room.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Yeah, right on.
That's not bad. And honestly, the weight room stuff, they redid the weight room a few years ago, and it's almost exactly the same. It's just bigger. You know what I mean? Same kind of setup, same pretty much situation. It's just a bigger room.
Right on.
They use the old auto room.
So they got.
So that's how it works.
Yeah, mechanics got kicked out.
Yeah.
We got to lift weights in here. What were your initial impressions of the team at intramurals?
So we started that over the summer. We had the summer enrichment. So that was
summer enrichment
school kind of thing, and that's honestly where I met 90% of the kids.
What was your
on the
first
team.
thought you saw them out there?
First thought was, oh my God, I can't believe we got so many kids out here. You know what I mean? And I had talked to a lot of them. So like the intramural process, I really took a step back and went to like football 101. Like I kept telling people it was like those old like 1950s like sports clip videos where they're like, the game of football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Play with 11 men on one side. You know, I'm like, that's kind of the approach like we went, because there were 90 kids that were showing up at the time, and a good 30 of them, so a third of them, had never played organized tackle football before. You know, so we definitely took a step back, and I think that's something that we will kind of continue to do, because I think the understanding throughout the whole program was huge. You know, there were kids that in the past had kind of just focused on one thing, and they had played and they had done well and they knew their job and stuff like that, but they didn't know the whole big scheme of like what the offense was doing and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think it was interesting to hear like linemen and stuff like that get caught up, and I made them understand what some of the wide receivers were doing. They don't need to know that, you know, forever, but it was fun to kind of get them understanding what we were doing. But that first impression was like, oof, I don't know.
Lots of kids.
Lots of kids, and a lot of kids that were really raw and inexperienced. But those raw and inexperienced kids, nobody says can't. You know what I mean? Like if you show them to do something, you show them how to do something, and they just pick it up and just start running with it. You know.
So what'd you guys do this summer?
Most of the summer we spent putting in our offense. I'm not gonna lie. We spent probably 2.5 months on offensive stuff. Part of that was because Coach Render worked during the day, so that's why we ended up doing evening practices so he could be at those. Mm-hmm. But we went probably all of May and June doing just offense. We really started doing our defensive stuff right around 4th of July. That's when we kind of got everything in, you know, and moved on to that. But it was a big learning curve, you know what I mean? And like getting the kids to understand that like we've got to do it kind of a certain way, but there is leeway, you know what I mean? Everything is, we're going to do it this way, but like be an athlete, you know what I mean?
How different do you think this offense is that you just installed? How different is it from last season's?
I can't go with, I will tell you that the kids definitely feel it's different. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that we're doing that they've said they've seen other people do, but they've never gotten the chance to do it. You know what I mean? So it's just been a good, fun experience. You know, it's been a lot of fun.
Nice. Let's see what else I got in here. I know I got a lot of questions here. Now, what's your impression now? Now that we're getting ready. I would edit that out in the podcast.
Yeah, no need. No need. We're just two dudes sitting in a restaurant.
Sitting in a restaurant, watching sports on TV. So now what are your impressions now? How do you feel about the whole training camp and your first couple of weeks of practice?
I think it's been great. You know, where we're at right now is not where we want to be.
Yeah.
But we are moving in the right direction. You know, I've been a big, not stickler, I guess, but like kind of reminding the coaches, like we've got time. You know what I mean? Like we don't need to rush and put everything in. If we make mistakes now, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like I've always been in the impression, and especially now because everybody makes the playoffs in 3A. We need to be where we need to be that week. You know what I mean? When the playoffs start. You know,
so you're ready for week one.
Right. We've made a few changes with positions in the last couple of weeks with some guys that really haven't played spots, but we're like, you know what, this fills a hole that we've got. So we've got some guys that are working that we've got a couple weeks to get them kind of caught up and get them doing the right thing before we start playing the Mwapas and the Virgins and the Perumps and stuff like that.
Did the offense stick? Did the kids get it?
Oh my God, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they it's one of those things now where we're at a point where we can call something and I can kind of make a little adjustment that we're running one thing, but we're going to add a wrinkle on another play, and I can kind of just say it to them and they don't even question it and they do it right. You know what I mean? One of the big things was throughout the summer, I kind of gave them hand signals for all the different plays and formations and stuff like that. And I told them, I'm like, you know, we'll use these a little bit, but as I'm telling them to play, I always go through the hand signals. I don't necessarily tell them to watch it, but make sure, you should know. And then just last week, I was like, all right, we're going to go no huddle stuff. I'm going to go on the sidelines. I'm going to call the plays. And the kid's like, Coach, we don't know the hand signals. yeah, you do. And then I started doing them from the sidelines. Oh, yeah, no, that's this, that's that. You know what I mean? So like they've really, really, really picked up on it. And it's gotten to a point where now the kids are starting to understand what we're doing. And, our quarterbacks, our receivers are like, hey, can we do this off of that? Yes, we can. That's something that's going to come. That's part of the progression. You know?
Gotcha.
So, and they understood too early on. I told them, I go, every play we run, we're going to have a play off of that play, then a play off of that play, then a play off of that play. I go, you guys will get to a point where when we start calling a certain formation and I start with a play, you're going to know what the next play is because we've worked it and there's a progression to what we're running. So like they're starting to understand that, and I think once we get into games, it's really going to start to make sense for them.
Yeah. Have you gotten any, pardon me, have you gotten any pushback from any of the kids about, the new system or how hard you work them?
Not at all. Not at all. And I don't.
Everyone's buying in?
I'm not one of those like hard worker, like destroy the kids kind of thing.
Oh man,
that's not me. We were laughing the other day because we've had not any incidents, but like little things where like you need to like keep the kids in line. And some of the coaches are like, all right, should we take him and run? I was like, no, like let's just talk to him. Like, let's explain what.
Yeah, Coach Moore's like, send him run. We send him run, right? I bet Jack's like, they're running, right?
100%,
they're running.
100%. That's why Jack is super excited because he feels like he hasn't coached yet. Now officially today, I told him they will have to deal with the jackhammer. So I told him, he's like, what do you want me to do with them? Like, that's your time. What they get sent to you, you can do whatever you want with them.
Wow, yeah. Let's see. What about, we talked about buy-in. See, this is how a podcast goes, but you never hear this side of it. Got a bunch of text messages coming in. Oh, yeah. What about your dad? Has your dad seen the team?
My dad came out early in the summer. I think it was when we were still in the intramural stuff. He was out here for about a week.
Okay.
And, it's funny because at the time he was out there, I didn't know a lot of the kids' names. So, we would have conversations like that tall kid, the skinny wide receiver, the blonde kid, you know what I mean? And then it got to a point too where he's like, the kid with the curly hair, the longer curly hair. And I was like, Dad, there's like 18 of those out there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who you're talking about. But, he was out here for about a week and he's kind of kept up with what we're doing and like kind of filled him in. And it's funny because like he's got that good memory and like, oh, I remember this kid, and pretty much everything he was saying, that's kind of where we've ended up with guys in different positions and stuff like that.
Yeah. I bet he's really shocked to see the perms are back.
Oh, yeah. It's a whole thing.
Man, I did not see the perms coming back. That one caught me by surprise.
But he'll be out here for the first game, so we'll see.
Yeah.
He'll get to see it all, and I think it'll be cool for him because he was here those first couple weeks when it was going over, position stuff and lining up and things like that and very, very, very basic plays. And I'm excited for him to come out and see it now 3 months later where we've had, 4 days a week of, the kids just really getting it. It's gonna be very fun. I'm excited for him.
Did you install exactly what you wanted or like a hybrid kind of
it was
mishmash Frankenstein version of maybe what you wanted?
No, I definitely had I had a vision in mind, kind of like my base stuff. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know where we were going to go with it, because when I saw some of those linemen that we had, I was like, oh, these guys are a lot bigger than I thought they were. They move a lot better than I thought they did, you know. But that kind of led to, well, let's look at doing some other different things and pounding the ball a little bit more and doing some of this. But like with the athletes we have, we've got 9 guys that can carry the ball, that need to have the ball in their hands. They're playmakers that can do stuff that, the more I looked at it with doing like kind of the pounding the ball, it just takes away a lot of our threats, and we've got a lot of threats with the ball in their hand.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
What about scouting? Has your dad done any scouting? Have you done any scouting?
Not yet. We, kind of a weird situation where we don't really have, because we didn't play, we can't really trade film with anybody yet. It's going to be an interesting situation. We'll go get to see Valley play on Friday. And I'm I'm definitely a guy that is like a 1 week at a time. Like we will focus on Valley. When Valley's done, then we will focus on who we play next. You know what I mean? Like the kids were asking me the other day, talking about the schedule. I'm like, when we do this, when we do that, I'm worrying about Valley. It's all that matters right now is Valley, So it's not really into the advanced scouting. I know some of the coaches have been trying to get film and see all that, and that's fine. Like I think it's better to get eyes on it, but like I want to be super focused on our next opponent, and then go from there.
So were we supposed to play this past Friday, or are we supposed to play this Friday normally?
We were supposed to play this past Friday.
Okay.
So we were supposed to open up against Sunrise Mountain last Friday.
Okay.
So, which now I don't even feel so bad because we wouldn't have played that game.
Yeah.
When all said and done, like everybody being upset, that game wouldn't have happened, so it wouldn't have mattered.
You'll come to find out God loves Boulder City.
Yeah. Well,
so
I will tell.
We should bumper sticker that somewhere.
I'm going to throw this out there. So, the blue gold game that we were supposed to have Friday night now, that's something my high school growing up, we had a red-white game every year. We didn't do the scrimmages against other schools. It was the week before your first game, you had the red-white game. Big deal. This is what I kind of modeled that after and what we'll do in the future. But it was, the whole band was there, the cheerleaders, everybody, a game was played, the fans were there, it was like a whole thing. The only year that ever got rained out was the year we went to the state championship. And I was like, that's a good omen. I mean, especially if we're in Vegas and a hurricane and lightning and rain and all that shut us out. If that happens in Vegas, that's a good omen.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did not know that, and good to hear. Let's see, what's the school atmosphere like? How are you fitting in at school?
It's getting to a point where I think Miss Wagner is going to tell me to just stay away from her because I am so happy here, and I feel the need to tell people all the time like how excited I am to be here and how much I enjoy it, that like they've got to start thinking I'm crazy. You know what I mean?
No, it's the new kid syndrome.
Oh, 100%.
It's so exciting, and then I think the other teachers they just kind of go around like, oh yeah, he's new. He's super excited.
No, like I like walking down the hall.
Doesn't
like,
wear
hey,
off
good
until
morning.
like
hey, good morning. It's totally like
3.
the Truman Show. You know what I mean? Like
That's good, man. That's awesome.
I'm definitely a weirdo. It's okay.
What's the biggest difference between Desert Pines and Boulder City High School in terms of? Let's talk about the high school first, and we'll talk about like athletics.
It's just the people just involved. You know what I mean? And just everybody is welcoming and everybody is, genuinely excited to be there. You know what I mean? And the kids are happy to be there. It's just, it's night and day. And it's one of those things where I never hated my time at Desert Pines. I would have stayed there forever probably. But coming here, this is what high school should be. You know what I mean? This is what my high school was back in Chicago. It was, people involved and, the cheerleaders being invested in the football players and the football players knowing the cheerleaders. And then we were at the volleyball game last night and everybody was at the volleyball. You know what I mean? It's just a community of people that actually care for each other. And I don't think people understand how special that is, especially in Vegas,
Yeah, especially in this day and age too. You know, it's rare. It's hard to find this kind of thing unless maybe you go up into like some mountain communities or something like that. So how close in reality is Boulder City to what you were expecting? Because I remember in the podcast you told us that you were you had come here, you had played here, and then you really liked it, and you thought, man, I really want to get there. Did it meet your expectations?
It's exceeded my expectations.
Nice, that's good to hear. Thanks.
It really is. It's
right
been
on, Boulder.
From the stuff on the field to the stuff in the classroom to the stuff in the community. Like it has been overwhelmed. I almost feel like I'm being punked. At some point, I'm going to like wake up and they're like, "No, this isn't what you get to do."
Yeah, they're right behind this. They're right behind this banner thing right here. Let's see. Any surprises in Boulder City so far?
No, none really. Honestly, my biggest surprise, and it's not even a surprise. It's just different than what we've been used to. Like now the kids are a little bit older, so like me and my wife have been able to like actually like go out and leave them at home for a little bit. But everything closes so early. That's the only thing that is a little weird. You know what I mean? But I say that, but I'm really an old guy, and me and my wife would rather be in bed by 9 o'clock at night. So it really doesn't work out that much. But it does. it surprises me every time we're out there and like something like, oh, we're closing now. And I was like, oh man, really?
That's going to wear off, I think, probably about the same time the excitement of the, having the position at Boulder City High
so
School.
like 2050, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes away, and then you end up being inside more often. And then before you know it, you're yelling at people, hey, it's 7:30, quiet out there.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, that'll happen real quick. Don't even worry about it. Hey, one thing I noticed, correct me if I'm wrong, but Desert Pines, your old high school, or where you coached, they had the most NFL drafts in the NFL draft out of the state of Nevada this past
What
draft.
do we have? 2?
I don't know.
Maybe 3?
3, I think. Hey, Luke,
It was
what did Desert Pines have? How many drafts did Desert Pines High School have? Is it 3 or 4?
Let's go. You're supposed to be the stat
He's the
guy.
one that told me.
You're the one that told me.
Well,
There were 5 people drafted out of Las Vegas this year, but there was
Oh, so it was 3.
I think it was 3.
Yeah, 3.
Okay.
All right, so
yeah.
3. There you go. Thank you.
So, and there should be another one next year, too. I think
So
Eddie
did you know,
Hackert-
that was the question, did you know these guys? Did you coach these guys at all?
No, I coached. That was my group. That was kind of like my last year
Shut
there
up.
was with those guys. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So Darnell I was there for 2 years with Darnell and just an absolute beast, and then Jordan Howden, who ended up at Minnesota. He was one of those kids that came to us and super, super nice kid. And I am more kind of proud of his situation because Darnell, he was a monster when he was in high school. And it was kind of to me, after watching him for a few years, it was like, if he just does what he's supposed to do, it's inevitable he's going to be in the NFL. You know what I mean? He's got all that skill in the world. Jordan Howden was one of those kids that really busted his butt, kind of went under the radar, with his group of seniors. I don't even think he was wouldn't get remembered as being the big guy on that team. And I remember when he signed at Minnesota, I was like, oh my God, all right, cool. It was random, someone going to Minnesota from here, and he played there I think he started for 3 years and made some big plays, and he's the one that I'm the most happy for that he got the shot.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
So we're on Darnell. Were you able to see anything? Because now knowing that he got drafted and remembering him in high school, could you see anything where you could say, yeah, he was exceptional, he stood out from the rest, he was part of the 1% or half a percent?
I will tell you this: when he first came to us, he was a sophomore, huge kid, did not run good routes. Every time he caught the ball with his hands like this, and our coaches were going, he's our guy. And I was like, I don't see it. I mean, he's big. I don't know. And then when we started, we ran all spread stuff, and we didn't really have a tight end at the time, so he played slot for us. And it was, his routes weren't great, but he would catch the ball anywhere, with the quarterback at the time. We'd run routes and we'd tell him to just kind of sit down, and we'd tell our quarterback, try and throw it over his head. Just throw it high because he's going to get it. And then, honestly, we played Las Vegas that year, and it was actually a game that got rained out. At halftime, they sent us in and they didn't let us come back out. He actually didn't get any stats for that game because the game didn't count. But I want to say he had 3 touchdowns and over 200 yards receiving in that game. And that's when all of a sudden I was like, oh, he's real good. You know what I mean? Where before that it was he was a big kid, but something finally clicked for him and he just manhandled people. And then saw him at one point hurdle 2 guys at the same time, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, to me that's indicative of the fact that he put in some work.
Yeah.
I mean, if he looked that way, the way you said as sophomore,
right?
And that's what I'm always looking for. I'm always thinking, is it this naturally gifted thing that you could never duplicate even if you tried, or is it work? And you just gave me a work answer, and I love the work answers.
And it was he had natural ability that he just had to get it. It was one of those things he just didn't. He didn't catch the ball right.
Had to learn
what I mean?
how to use his superpowers, like X-Men or something.
But I will say, I was one of the ones I just don't.
Super nerdy.
But I was like, I just don't see it with this guy. And now I look at him I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Great. So don't be discouraged, kids, if the coach is like, you ain't got it. You might. You just might. All right. Any questions for us, Coach? What's going on? What are you excited about? What do you want to tell us about?
No,
I just did a half-hour show there. Look at that.
I know.
Boom.
I'm super, super excited for everybody to see what we've been doing. You know what I mean? We had this scrimmage 2 weeks ago, and we really didn't. We wanted to. There were certain things that we wanted to see and work on that weren't really who we are as an offense, And then the other thing too, the team we scrimmaged, they ran like the double wing, so everything was all like a mess in the middle. So like you didn't really get to see what our defense can do. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm really excited for and on top of it, Thursday Night Lights to go out and everybody in the city gets to see what we can do.
Yeah, Thursday night. So we play Thursday night.
Yes.
Against
Valley.
And then we have another coaches show next Tuesday.
Yes.
Right here.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, same bat channel. Let's see. What am I missing? Announcements. There's probably some announcements. As soon as we're done, I'm gonna be like, oh man, you know what? I should have said this. I should have said that. Well, we'll just plug the coaches show. So this is the coaches show. It's going to happen every Tuesday night during the football season, and even beyond that. I am totally open to interviewing any coach who wants to come here, assistant coaches, any sports. Tuesday nights right here at Vinny's. There's couple other restaurants as well that want us to go there as well. So keep an eye out. We might be moving around town.
Vinny's a Chicago guy, so
Spread the love.
he gets first.
Yeah,
he gets first
that's
choice.
why he got. Yeah. I've known Vinny for a lot of years. I knew his mother too before she passed. Yeah, God bless her. Yeah, really good people. Really good people. All right, well, I think that's all I got, Coach. Oh, let's talk about the Bears. There's this new junior program. Have you seen them at all?
Yes, I actually went up and saw them play at Mawapa this past weekend.
Really?
We had watched them play, and like with a lot of those kids, like really not having done any football stuff before, I told Coach Krakalici, I was like, you got to try and get these guys a scrimmage. Get them against somebody that kind of knows what's going on and see. And I will.
And you take them to Mawapa right off.
Well, that was the thing. I was like, listen, you guys are going to hate these guys for the next 6 years. Let's start it now.
Start now.
So honestly, the plan with all of that was to take them up somewhere where they would get their brains kicked in and like understand that they really need to step it up. And the kids went out there and won 36-12.
Yeah, look at this.
We absolutely destroyed them. So it was good to see. So there's good things coming, And then the flag teams that they got down there, we've got 8 different flag teams, I think. We've got a 6U team, 2 8U teams, 2 10U teams, a 12U team, and then 2 girls teams, one 9U and one 13U. So, I mean, there's a lot of kids out there, and they're looking good. I'm super impressed with that group as well. That's one thing that I think I can give a shout out to all the parents here in town. This is the most coachable group of kids I've ever been around. You know what I mean? And they listen, they understand when they don't know stuff. They will ask the right questions. They understand that there's roles that everybody needs to play, and they've really stepped up, and there's some good stuff. There's even some kids that didn't want to play for the Bears that, openly said they didn't want to play for a bad team that have now in the last, 3 days since the scrimmage asked if they could play because they heard the Bears team kick butt.
Yeah.
So,
I really like this Cold War strategy that you have of like going to Mawapa, kicking their butts at a young age.
Yeah.
Planting that seed of, well, we can't
100%.
beat the Eagles, man.
100%.
We always lose to Boulder City.
Right.
Let's keep that going, man.
Yeah.
That's smart.
No,
I like
that's
that.
the plan.
Keep it up, Coach Krakalici.
Yeah. So, and they've got a scrimmage tomorrow night at the high school. They're going to be playing one of the local teams that they'll actually play in the in their league and stuff. So they've got a scrimmage tomorrow night at 6:00 at the high school. So come out and check it out. See what they're all about.
Right on. Hey, do you have any superstitions? Anything that we're supposed to do?
No. You know what? I was just talking to Derek Render about this the other day. I'm a weirdly superstitious person, but I don't have a set superstition. Like my thing will be, and like the people at the school will realize this, whatever I do on Thursday, I will repeat that. If we win, I will repeat that then the next game day. So if I talk to somebody, I will go hang out in their office every Friday until we lose,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll wait to see what develops then.
So, yeah, I'm excited. Next week, I could actually kind of start telling you about what we're going to be doing.
Yeah. So we got a coaches show here next week. Good luck with your game against Valley.
Yes, Valley.
Right on. And we'll see you here next week.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Take care. For the rest of you guys out there, tune into the podcast. I know we've got the Kenny and Cannon podcast coming out, Kenny and Cannon Rose. Listen, I just got that back a few days ago, but I've been so busy prepping for the coaches show. So the Kenny and Cannon Rose podcast is going to come out. I think after that, then we have Coach Rochelle Huxford, which is an amazing podcast. We also have Coach Denny Crine coming up, and Coach James Krakalici as well, and Coach Ruth. I think I just named, yeah, those are all of the ones we have coming up in the bag. They're being edited, and we're going through all that, and then they'll be out. So the next one to come out, thanks for your patience, is Kenny and Cannon Rose. Stay tuned for that podcast. That should be out no later than this weekend. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great night. Turn this thing up, and then we go like this. That's how we get out of here.
I like it.
Thanks, Coach. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Hit